When you have your staff taking the Fifth Amendment, when you have the man that set up the illegal server taking the Fifth, I think it's disgraceful.
Do you believe the violence on January 6th was justified morally?
Take the Fifth.
General Flynn, do you believe in the peaceful transition of power in the United States of America?
The Fifth.
The night before January 6th, President Trump instructed his chief of staff, Mark Meadows, to contact both Roger Stone and Michael Flynn regarding what would play out the next day. Is it your understanding that President Trump asked Mark Meadows to speak with Roger Stone and General Flynn on January 5th?
That's correct. That is my understanding.
Is it your understanding that Mr. Giuliani, Mr. Eastman, and others had set up what has been called, quote, a war room at the Willard Hotel on the night of the 5th?
I was aware of that the night of the 5th.
But after Trump lost the 2020 election, he pardoned Flynn.
He could take military capabilities and he could place them in those states and basically rerun an election.
He suggested that Trump could seize voting machines. He floated the idea of martial law. He called it a coup in progress.
I mean, these people out there talking about martial law, it's like it's something that we've never done. Martial law has been instituted 64 times, Greg.
The mob takes the Fifth. If you're innocent, why are you taking the Fifth?
Dr. Eastman, did you advise the President of the United States that the Vice President could reject electors from 7 states and declare that the President had been reelected? Dr. Eastman, the first sentence of the memo starts off by saying 7 states have transmitted dual slates of electors to the President of the Senate. Is that statement in this memo true?
Sidney Powell was fighting, Mike Flynn was fighting. They were looking for avenues that would result in President Trump remaining President Trump for a second term.
Certain accounts of this meeting indicate that President Trump actually granted Ms. Powell's security clearance and appointed her to a somewhat ill-defined position of special counsel.
He asked Pat Cipollone if he had the authority to name me special counsel, and he said yes. And then the president said, okay, I'm naming her that, and I'm giving her a security clearance.
And then Sidney Powell goes straight to the heart of it and argues, analyzed under these facts, even assuming arguendo that each of the statements alleged in the complaint could be proved true or false, no reasonable person would conclude that the statements were truly statements of fact.
And are you pleading guilty today because you agree that there is a sufficient factual basis, that there are enough facts that support this plea of guilty?
I do. Giuliani presented this video to a state Senate subcommittee a month later and said it was proof of fraud.
And then you can see them counting the ballots more than once, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. You would have to be a moron not to realize that that's voter fraud.
In his response, Giuliani admitted he had lied, specifically that he doesn't contest that his, quote, factual statements were false. But he added he believes they were constitutionally protected so he's not liable for damages, and that's why his legal team says they're trying to move past this fact-finding phase of the trial so they can argue those points before the judge.
How do you plead to count 15, conspiracy to commit filing false documents in indictment number 23SC188947?
Guilty.
Have you and your attorney signed that indictment?
Yes.
Again, this is like Watergate, only it's worse.
I believe I raised a concern about the vice president, and I again, the nature of his response without recalling exactly was people were doing all that they could.
And what about the president? Did he indicate whether he thought the president was doing what needed to be done to protect the vice president?
They've got the gallows set outside the Capitol building. It's time to start fucking using them.
Would it have been possible at any moment for the president to walk down to the podium in the briefing room and talk to the nation at any time between when you first gave him that advice at 2 o'clock and 4:17 on the video statement? Would that have been possible?
Would it have been possible?
Yes.
Yes, it would have been possible.
The press briefing room is at the top, highlighted in blue. And the Rose Garden, where the president ultimately filmed his go home video, is on the right next to the Oval Office, and that's highlighted in green. Ms. Matthews, how quickly could the president have gotten on camera in the press briefing room to deliver a statement to the nation?
So as you outlined, it would take probably less than 60 seconds from the Oval Office dining room over to the press briefing room.
People. These were great people. The crowd was unbelievable. And I mentioned the word love, the love in the air. I've never seen anything like it.
Do you recognize what this is?
It looks like a copy of a draft of the remarks for that day.
Do you recognize the handwriting?
It looks like my father's handwriting.
Was the implication that the president was in some ways reluctant to give that speech?
Yeah.
And everyone's going to look very good if the truth comes out. It's okay. It take a little while, but let the truth come out. And the real truth is I won by 400,000 votes, at least. So what are we going to do here, folks? I only need 11,000 votes. Fellas, I need 11,000 votes. Give me a break. So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state. And there's nothing wrong with saying that, that you've recalculated.
We must be prepared to lobby our Republican legislatures. Any legislative body may decide on the basis of overwhelming evidence of fraud to send electors to the Electoral College who accurately reflect the president's legitimate victory in their state, which was illegally denied him through fraud. Plenty of things he could have done months ago. He should have started by enacting the Insurrection Act when Portland and Kenosha were burning last summer. I said, fuck the Lord, and let's get right to the violence. That's what I'm doing. We'll have to start smashing pumpkins, if you know what I mean. Let's just hope we're celebrating. I really do suspect it'll still be up in the air. But when that happens, the key thing to do is to claim victory. Possession is 9/10 of the law. No, we won. Fuck you. Sorry, over. We won. Yeah. You're wrong. Fuck you.
And Mr. Stone, did you have any role in planning for the violence in the state?
Once again, I will assert my Fifth Amendment right to decline to answer your question.
No. Well, I was at the Capitol, so I'm prepared to go back.
That may not be this. Changes in state law, real time, voting monitoring, going to court as we just did. We challenge some of the voters. The election's not tomorrow. We went into court to sue in Michigan over the handling of ballots, which we sued in half a dozen places. And then we overturned it now on offensive. We have control of the record. Don't be discouraged.
So we're going to spend, the RNC is going to spend more money now than
far more.
I will once and for all secure our elections. We're going to go to paper ballots. We're going to have same-day voting, voter ID. We're going to do it properly. We're going to have good, secure, beautiful elections. We never want what happened in 2020 to happen again. But until then, Republicans must win. And we must use every appropriate tool available to beat the Democrats. They are destroying our country.
Whether you vote early, absentee, by mail, or in person, we are going to protect the vote. That's the most important thing we have to do, is protect the vote. Keep your eyes open, because these people want to cheat, and they do cheat, and frankly, it's the only thing they do well. We will make sure your ballot is secure and your voice is heard. Many Republicans like to vote on Election Day, and we must swamp the radical Democrats with massive turnout on Tuesday, November 5th. The way you win is to swamp them. If we swamp them, they can't cheat. It just doesn't work out. But if you can't make it, you need to make a plan, register, and vote any way possible. We got to get your vote. So with your vote, we will win a victory the likes of which no one has ever seen before. We will evict crooked Joe Biden from the White House, and we will take back our country on November 5th, 2024, the most important day in the history of our country. That's what it's going to go down as. Thank you.